Hey guys, Anders here, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be going over the Battlefield 2042 developer talk that coincided with the release of Update 1.2. This developer talk has only had 2,300 views on YouTube, so I really don't think a lot of people have seen what is in this video. And actually, in this developer talk, we hear from the level designer about the maps, and he says some very, very interesting things that I think the community should be aware of. It also raises some very interesting questions as to just what they were doing when they were actually initially designing the maps. So real quick, thank you so much for the unbelievable support on the last video. You guys absolutely blew that one out of the water. It has double the views of the previous #1 performing video. So that is unreal. Thank you guys for that. And also thank you guys for smashing all the way through 28,000 subs. We're almost halfway to 29,000 subs now. So welcome to all the new subscribers. And as always, if you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button and make sure notifications are on so you never miss an upload. And let's try to get this video to like 700 likes. What do you guys think? I never really set a goal, so let's try that out. So, as I said, the Battlefield developer talk included commentary from the level designer and the community manager, as well as Drunksy, who is a lead game designer. So first I'm going to play you a clip from the level designer, then I'm going to play you a clip from Stratford, who is a community manager, and I think this will kind of form sort of a funny contrast that I will now elaborate on after you watch the clips.
I mean, the levels we have right now, we have heard from the community where it's generally too big. That's not enough cover. So we know that.
Like we playtest this internally a lot. Like we play every map very often.
Playtest this internally a lot. Like we play every map very often.
Okay. Interesting. So let me ask you a question. Why, if these maps were playtested apparently internally a lot and played very often, why did you need community feedback after the game released to know that the maps were too big and that you needed to add cover? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Does anyone see what I'm saying? You didn't really need community feedback. What you needed was competency and probably better people testing your maps, or maybe you needed to listen more before the game released. Either way, it just doesn't really line up for me. I don't really take that excuse, if I'm honest with you. And to the level designer's credit, he actually seems like he knows what he's talking about. And I would be willing to bet that while he and his colleagues were designing these maps, they probably knew they weren't the best maps they've ever produced. But that doesn't change the fact that they did release the way they are. Okay, so now that we have that dynamic established that I hope everyone sees, I'm going to show you another clip from the level designer explaining why some of the maps might not have as much cover as people expected and how it is apparently not just plug and play with the cover system.
Silver bullet, like just adding cover won't fix everything, right? Where if you look at the levels, where a level can be any size it needs to be, but it can only have so much content in it. We call it something as a asset count, where asset can be anything like the table, these chairs, these glass. It's all one asset. So if we add more cover, it needs to come from somewhere because the levels at launch are at max asset count, right? So that's why it takes time. It's not as easy as plop more things. That's an easy thing, but it's figuring out how do we take the level we have and then modify it to work. So one option is add more covers. Another option is the levels are too large. Does it need to be that large? Do we need all the flags we have? Can we remove some stuff, make it a bit more compact, get some more instances back because we removed some stuff, and then take this instance and then put them into cover?
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. A stick is costing you cover. That's right, because a stick, even though that's just a joke, that would technically count as a map asset, and they have to remove it in order to add another asset in place of it as cover. See the skyscraper tops of buildings on maps like Hourglass. You know how they're really, elaborately decorated with a bunch of catwalks and air conditioning units, and they're barely traveled portions of the map. Those skyscraper rooftops potentially have, 50 assets, 100 assets. I'm not sure how many of those assets are actually separate things, but the point stands, there's a lot of stuff on those skyscraper rooftops that could be used as cover instead. And again, I just have to say, if you guys were playtesting these maps as often as Stratford claims, how was this not identified in the very early stages of things? No one looked at this and said, hey, we probably don't need all this shit on top of this building. We should definitely turn that into some cover on the more traveled portions of the maps. But in general, this is why I said the level designer seems to be fairly competent. What he's saying makes sense. This sort of thinking is actually pretty good to hear from him. I just hope that they let him do what he wants to do because, like I said, the actual thinking here is pretty solid in my opinion. I just want to see it actually executed upon. And let me know in the comments section if you actually saw this or not, because I don't think these developer talks get many views whatsoever. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, as of recording this, this developer talk has less than 3,000 views, and these sort of things should be marked public and not unlisted on the Battlefield YouTube channel. This sort of thing is what people want to see, so I'm not sure why they aren't showing this off more. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. In the comments section, let me know what you think about what the level designer had to say and just the general opinions in this video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, make sure notifications are turned on, and like the video. Really does help the channel out. Join the Discord. We're going to start doing some more community stuff in the future, as well as community stuff on stream, such as modes like, oh, I don't know, kill the streamer, where you're all trying to knife me to death, so I'm sure that'll be pretty fun. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you guys for watching.
Let me smash.
Keep going. There will be a savior soon.